Today we are continuing this series on Back to Basics, the Unity's 5 Principles. Reverend Val spoke the first week of the month about God is, and last Sunday she spoke on I am. So today I'm speaking on I think. Now some people want to know, what's the title of your talk? So, I'm a minister, I give it a title. It's, what are you thinking? Now the title might be, what are you thinking? Or it could be, what are you thinking? You see, there's many ways to explore this third basic teaching of unity. As spiritual beings having a human experience, we can't help but think. We think, we make plans, we vision an outcome, we think about a vacation, a meeting that we're going to have, a visit with someone. And we can get excited, or we could get depressed. We can worry about something, or we can eagerly anticipate it. These are all things that go on in our minds, so it's our choice how we are going to be thinking. My first point for today is to be aware of what you're thinking. So what are you thinking? What's the primary theme of your thinking? And that's very powerful words here. Think about the primary theme of your thoughts. In New Thought, we say, what you think about, you bring about. And our belief is that our thoughts are creative. Are your predominant thoughts what one might label positive thoughts, good thoughts? Or are your predominant thoughts negative? More thoughts of worry, fear, or dread. Our third principle here that we're talking about today said we create experiences by what we choose to think, feel, and believe. So this principle emphasizes the power and the energy of thoughts and our beliefs to shape our reality and the experiences we have in life. Now, for those of you that are paying attention, I did make a distinction there between our thoughts and our beliefs. We can think a good thought, but what's really going to come through in our life is our subconscious thoughts. Some people say that we have 85% of our thoughts are subconscious, and only 15% of our thoughts are conscious. You see, we can't change our beliefs. Our beliefs are really our subconscious thoughts unless we consciously work on it. Did you catch that? You really have to pay attention, don't you? And when we're aware of what we're thinking, we can choose to change our thinking so that we can create what we want to in life. It's the repetition of a type of thought that allows us to change our thinking. So I'm going to share some tips with you today about how to manage your mind, if you will. When we learn to harness the power of our thinking, then we can create the life of our dreams. So to me, there's a natural progression here that we're going through with the unity principles. The first principle being that God is everywhere. Everything is God. There's not a spot that God is not. We are all God in expression. We're all a manifestation of this one God. So I've used this example before, and I love it because it makes so much sense to me. We're not like a raisin in a roll. We're not something that's not spiritual, that's stuck into a spiritual environment and asked to exist. We're more like a wave in the ocean. God is in us, through us, as us. And so as we have our unique expression, that is God expressing. Some of you who have been around unity for a while will remember a singer that we had, Rebecca Gatskill. To me, her iconic song was Omnipresent Symphony. I would love to hear her sing and John Jenkins play the piano. And when she got to the chorus, there was always two notes that let you know the chorus was coming. And John would go, boom, boom. I am here inside of you. I am all around you. You are part of me. I am all of you. That's God speaking to you and to me. We are part of God. And God is all of us. You see, we're not the all of God because God has so much more than just one human being. So many expressions. But all that we are is God within us. Do we believe this? If we do, then it's really easy to build on that to our point today that our thoughts are creative. Now, in the Bible, I know some of you love to read the Bible, it says God created the world. And in Genesis 1, 26 and 27, let us make man in our image. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Now, an image is just a mental thought. It's a vision or idea. And we are made to reflect the idea of God. So that same power is within us. Thoughts that we have, those predominant thoughts in our minds, are what are going to be reproducible in our outer world. So to me, this outlines a pattern of creation. First, we have a thought, and then we have a manifestation. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, wrote, "Never make an assertion, no matter how true it might look on the surface, that you do not want to continue to reproduce." She went on to say, "Deliberately choose thoughts that focus on the good we desire, rather than any loss, lack, or limitation we may be experiencing." I think that's pretty powerful. That's how we train our minds here. Deliberately choose thoughts that focus on the good we desire, not on loss, lack, or limitation that we might be experiencing. Now, I know that not all thoughts are manifest. The average person, scientists say, have between 6,000 and 80,000 thoughts in a day. That's a pretty wide range. And so when I researched that, it says, well, scientists can't agree on what constitutes a single thought. So some say we have 6,000, some say we have 80,000. Any of those numbers are large, aren't they? But not all of our thoughts do manifest. It's the predominant thought that we have, whatever that predominant thought pattern is, that's going to manifest in our life. Other studies have shown that 80 to 95% of our thoughts are repetitive and potentially negative. Isn't that a sobering thought? So what are you thinking? Gratitude is going to bring more good into your life. Worry and fear is going to bring unwanted experiences into our life. So another example from the Bible. Job. In the book of Job, it tells his whole story. And that Job was a very righteous man. He was a God-fearing man. But Job was obsessed with the fact that he was afraid his children were sinning. And so Job was doing all these sacrifices to God to make atonement for his children. He didn't want his children to get in trouble with God, so he was trying to help out here. He went through a lot of trials. He lost all of his property, his children died, and he suffered great physical agony, despite the fact that he was a God-fearing man. In Job 3, verse 25, it says, "For the thing I have greatly feared has come upon me, and what I dreaded has happened to me." Now, I shared this story just to make the point that we need to guard our thoughts. We need to be aware of what our thinking is. As Myrtle says, deliberately choose thoughts that focus on the good we desire rather than any loss, lack, or limitation that we may be experiencing. our predominant thoughts are what are creative. The second point for today is the law of mind action. It's working in your life every day. There's a book by Hapta Hasbrook. I may not pronounce her name right. She was a Unity teacher, minister in a Unity School of Christianity. And she wrote this book, Handbook of Positive Prayer. And so she says, the law of mind action is working in you each day. Positive prayer works because of the law of mind action. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. I learned that early on. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Reverends Richard and Judy, thank you for being here, taught me that early on in my New Thought career, and it has stuck with me. It's the power of our words and our thoughts here. The statement, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, means that if we have a particular kind of thought, other thoughts of that same kind are going to form in our mind, and eventually we'll feel compelled to say or to act on those thoughts. They will come into manifestation. Now, the law of mind action is impersonal. So you don't have a corner on that market, I'm sorry to tell you. It's like in the Bible when it talks about the rain falls on the just and the unjust. The law of mind action works for everybody. So you can use it for good. You can use it for not so good. It's up to us. It acts impersonally, and so I think of it as like a computer. The idea of a computer here. You've probably heard computers, good stuff in, good stuff out. Garbage in, garbage out. And I think of the computer there as the mental image of God, the universal mind. We might call it the World Wide Web. And then each one of us is a personal computer, or a personal laptop here. And we're downloading information from that all-knowing World Wide Web of the universe. What are we going to download? We get to choose. Is it positive or is it negative? I call these godlike thoughts when we're choosing positive ones. And when those godlike thoughts show up in our life, then we're going to have a better day. When I'm downloading to my personal computer, I want to make sure that I'm downloading the good thoughts, the unconditional love, the peace, the joy that life has to give me. Our words are powerful. Reverend Valerie has told us several times to be aware of what we attach to the words I am, because that's what's going to manifest. We're saying I am whatever. So you might think about what you're saying. And if you're one that says, I am tired, try saying, I am filled with the energy of life. If you're a person that says, I'm only one person, what can I do? Say, I know my thoughts and actions are creative and make a difference in the world. Can you feel a difference in the energy of those statements? Situations that might arise fear in us, we could say something that brings us into a positive focus. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The peace of God flows through me. I am peace. Choose our words for what we want to create in our life. My final point for today is that we can use any and all spiritual tools to help train our minds in this positive thinking. Anything that you do as a daily spiritual practice here, make sure it's something that's positive for you. This can include spiritual tools like silent meditation, or a guided meditation, a musical meditation, whatever kind of meditation helps you connect with that voice of spirit within. spiritual readings. Read authors that encourage positive thinking and uplift you. Spiritual music. Create a playlist for yourself where you have positive music that's going to make you feel energized, loved, and excited about life. Use affirmative prayer. We talk about living with that positive prayer and how that changes our mind and the action we have in life. Visioning is another spiritual tool. Ask Spirit, what is yours to do today? I know many of you have created a vision board in life. So a vision board, if you don't know the difference in visioning and a vision board, vision boards, you create what I would call like a collage. You put pictures and ideas, colors, things on your vision board that help you feel like what you want to create in life. The classic example is the person that puts a red sports car on their vision board. When you talk to them, it's not really, I probably learned this from you all. When you talk to them, what you really learn is it's not the red sports car that they really want. The red sports car helps them feel young and sexy, and that's what they're wanting in life. So you put pictures of things that have the feeling there that you want. It may not be that exact beach, but you want to go lay on the beach. And so you have a picture of that on your vision board. And over time, as you keep looking at that, your subconscious mind brings that into manifestation. Visioning, then, is when we ask God's highest idea for our life. We use a series of questions to ask what is the highest and best that Spirit has for us. And then we listen for the intuitive guidance as we ask those questions. Another spiritual tool is to use the telephone. When you're not feeling your most positive, when you're down in the dumps, when you're stuck in the muck, call somebody. Let them pray with you. Let them just talk you off of the edge and back into a positive space in life. So a telephone can be a spiritual tool. Create a silent retreat for yourself. Now, I know a lot of people think you have to go away to a monastery for a while to do a silent retreat. But I tell you, you get to choose the rules around it. There was one time when Tom was traveling, and he was gone for 3 days. So I created for myself a silent retreat at home. And everything I did focused on connecting me with Spirit. I wasn't talking to anyone. I was just talking to Spirit and listening. You get to set the rules for your silent retreat. Another spiritual practice that I love is sticky note reminders. Put sticky notes wherever you need them, your bathroom mirror, your car, your refrigerator, your office, wherever you're going to see them, and use affirmations or positive statements there so that it reminds your brain to be in that positive mindset. Create a personal altar space in your home. I give you an example right here that I created this morning. That personal altar space tells your body, when I sit down here, this is the place where I relax and I listen to Spirit. And so you're setting that tone for your life. Include pictures or items, anything for you that speaks of peace, speaks of love, speaks of Spirit, and your connection to the God of your understanding. Whatever you value can go on your spiritual altar. Now, we all think, and we encourage each other to think God-like thoughts. And as we do that, we create the life of our dreams. So your homework this week is to be aware of what you're thinking. What thoughts do you need to consciously change so that you're thinking positive, good thoughts, uplifting and peaceful thoughts? And I I would encourage you to listen to the self-talk you have as well. Make sure you're talking to yourself as you would to a trusted friend. Your words are powerful. Your thoughts are creative, and you are magnificent. A couple of resources I want to leave you with. I'll put these on the back table. The first is an affirmative style prayer by Hapta Hasbrook, where she has adapted the prayer of St. Francis into an affirmative prayer. So I'll put those in back. Feel free to pick those up. And then on the back of it is a review of some of the spiritual tools that I mentioned today. You can add to that list your own spiritual tools, because there are more. So I hope that will help you to remember to choose your thoughts. Another New Thought leader, Ernest Holmes, said, "To learn how to think is to learn how to live." So I hope this week you will enjoy thinking about your thoughts and choosing positive thoughts for yourself so that you create the world you want to live in.